Well, hey, everybody, it's Mike Griffith here with D. Orlando Ledbetter of Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Let me adjust my camera. We're our own cameramen on these Facebook Lives, so we're good there. So day 2 today of testing. I guess we'll start at the top. Maybe not the greatest of news for Georgia fans. They all love Elijah Holyfield, and we all waited and held our breath to see what type of 40-yard dash Elijah could run today. D-Led, not the numbers he was looking for.
No, not at all. Not at all. He was hoping to go pretty fast. I tried to get a number to get him to project a number for us. He did not. Ran a 4.76 unofficially. One of the times was much higher over the 4.8 mark, which the benchmark for running backs is a 4.55, so he's way off, but I looked at the scouting reports from the NFL.com. They still have him graded as a 5.8, which is a player who can come into the league and start or project as a starter. They know or knew or suspected that he did not have what they call home run speed, but runs with a lot of power and passion, and there's still a place for that in the NFL.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Everybody don't forget Antonio Brown once ran a 4.55 40, one of the most elite receivers in the NFL. Now the good news for Elijah Holyfield and for really all the players, they all have their pro day. Georgia's pro day is March 20th. So there's time for Elijah to go work on this. He'd worked some with Christian Coleman, the Olympic track star from Atlanta, former Tennessee track star, and I guess thank goodness he did, or maybe his time would have been even slower. But the other disappointing number for Elijah today was the vertical jump, only 29.5 inches. You talked about those NFL benchmark numbers. Gil Brandt wants 35 inches out of a running back. Now we do know Elijah's strong, 26 repetitions on the bench press. Moving on from Elijah Holyfield, Riley Ridley was the big story today. A lot of people are talking with Riley Ridley. He's one of the fastest risers. Why is that? Why has he garnered so much attention from here, D-Led?
Well, he's sure-handed. He has the top-end speed. He's a what I call an exquisite route runner. He's going to be on the point, on time, at the yard marker, at the place, on time, there where he's supposed to be to get open. So they know he has what they call escapability. He can get off of coverage. He's strong enough at 184 to move folks around and get to where he needs to be. So they know in the passing game that we have now, they've learned from Tyreek Hill and Patrick Mahomes and what all Andy Reid's doing out there, and Matt Nagy in Chicago with these move receivers and so forth, how you can get them to space and get them open, and Riley certainly has that ability to do that, and that's where the NFL is falling in love with him, whereas his production, I sense from some of the Georgia people that they're kind of surprised that the NFL thinks so highly of Riley Ridley.
Yeah, he's been moved up into the first-round projections. Obviously, tomorrow, a very big day for Riley Ridley. Mecole Hardman, Terry Godwin, and Isaac Nauta is on Saturday. They will test. They will run the 40 and do these jumps, show their explosive movements and quickness. You had some news on Riley Ridley you put on Twitter earlier.
Yeah, Riley's going to interview with the Falcons tonight. He was really excited about it. He said he couldn't wait. He had also met with the Patriots, and they talked to him about, with Arizona. He met with Shanahan and John Lynch, and Wes Welker was part of that interview process there too. So he's making the rounds. He's a pretty popular guy, and we'll be talking with the Falcons, and his big brother Calvin, of course, plays for the Falcons, and had given him some advice on what to do here at the Combine. So, Ridley, maybe they'll have the Ridley brothers in Atlanta.
Yeah, Riley said he'd like that, said that Calvin's advice to him was to soak it up and be a sponge. And I thought Riley Ridley had a very strong podium interview today. I know at Georgia he wasn't made available very often. Those Georgia athletes don't get a lot of practice with the media. Probably would help him to do a little bit more, but I was very impressed with Riley Ridley's presentation. Now, a guy that we knew was going to be a lot of fun, he's always a colorful quote, is Mecole Hardman. And sure enough, Mecole was at it again today. He told everybody he'd like the Florida game to be a home and home. He wants to play in Gainesville. I know a lot of Georgia fans probably aren't going to be excited about that. He drew up his favorite play, told everybody how he would score on it, and then he told me he thought that he could run a sub 4.340. Now, If he were to run a number in the 4.2s, D-Led, what would that mean for McCole Hardman stock?
Well, at least he wasn't real shy today.
No, he wasn't.
We like to see that when the guys just come out and show their whole personality and so forth. So that was good for him. And I know he'll do well in the interviews with that also, Mike. Sub 4.3, that's moving out. That's Deion Sanders, Chris Johnson territory, you know, combine record type stuff. So, and this is apparently a slow track if the running backs are running 4.7s and 4.8s unofficially. So maybe they'll fix that. Maybe the receivers will get it blazing and he can get to sub 4.3. That'd be awesome. You'll hear the buzz if that happens. When I remember when Chris Johnson went fast, it was everybody was scrambling. They were like, get him over here, get him over here. So, yeah, if he does that, man, it'll be hopping here at the convention center right down the street from Lucas Oil Stadium when that happens, if that happens tomorrow for McCole.
Yeah, no doubt. Mike Weber from Ohio State today, by the way, 4.38. So that was a pretty impressive number, and Mike Weber made himself a lot of money with that 40-yard dash. Now, Isaac Nauta talked today, tight ends. Isaac Nauta told us that, hey, the advisory committee did advise him to come back another year. But Isaac Nauta said, listen, that was before the combine. That's before they get to know you. And most of the time, that's the advice they're going to give to players unless you're projected in the first round. D-Led, where do you stand with Isaac Nauta's decision to come out? I've seen him ranked at the top 5 of his position.
I thought he should have returned to college and filled out his frame more. I saw 240s, some numbers. They'll bulk him up. 240 is too light to play in the NFL. I mean, I know he came out of IMG as the #1 tight end in the nation after his time at Buford High. So I would like to see more. You know, he had the big year, the freshman year, then the big drop-off. A lot of people say he was underutilized. I would like to see a little bit more from him. But, you know, the guys, Austin Hooper came out early. He was a young guy, a junior guy that just turned 20. Took him a little bit a while to develop, and those guys are trying to get to that second contract as fast as they can. So I understand why he came out. He would be a better football player staying another year and then coming out and maybe being the top tight end in the draft in 2020 and maybe being a first-round pick.
Right. Isaac Nauta caught 30 of the 31 balls thrown his way this year. That was the highest catch ratio on the team. Jim Chaney now at Tennessee said, yes, they should have thrown to the tight ends more. Nauta, for what it's worth, there's a story on Dog Nation. You're going to want to read it. He talks about what James Coley is going to do with the tight ends. I think Georgia fans are going to be very excited. One last guy I don't want to forget, Terry Godwin. You know, Terry Godwin, a reliable senior. I looked at his numbers today, though. Not the biggest guy. What are we looking at realistically for Terry? He was the MVP of the East-West Shrine game this year.
He's a third-day pick, Mike. 5'11", 184, I believe, is what they have in the NFL.com database now. Nothing. He hasn't done anything else but get measured and weighed and go through his medicals. So we'll wait and see where the numbers come in at. But going into his workout, he's a late-round guy, and that's on the strength of that East-West All-Star game. And he can only move up with a good showing here at the Combine, and so I'm sure he's going to want to do that over the next 24 hours.
Two guys that are going to be at the podium tomorrow. I'll ask D-Led what he might want to ask these guys. DeAndre Walker, who will not work out. Remember, he had that hernia surgery on January 23rd. That's the injury he suffered with 6 minutes left in the third quarter and Georgia beating Alabama by a touchdown. Also missed the Sugar Bowl on account of that. Walker with some controversial comments lately. We're going to ask him about those comments. You can see what Brandon Adams wrote about that. The other player, Jonathan Ledbetter, no relation to Orlando Ledbetter, but a Georgia team captain and defensive lineman. What are some things, D-Led, that we might want to ask DeAndre Walker and Jonathan Ledbetter tomorrow?
Well, certainly Walker will be a medical update when he's going to be ready to do everything. Is pro day a viable option for him, or will he have to go around and do his own workouts later before the draft in April? That's what a lot of people do, or he can go jump in on somebody's pro day near his hometown. He'll have some options, and I'm sure his agents. So, now the agents have been coming real good about medicals, and updating them via Twitter, or their doctor, or Dr. Andrews, or the doctor in Philly who does the sports hernia. So, we'll try to get a medical update from him. The teams that he's talking to, the top linebackers of the draft are the two Devins, Devin White and Devin Bush. So, Walker's probably in that middle group, but we'll want to see which teams he's interviewed with, who's he talked to, and that'll tell us which teams are interested in that type of big linebacker who can still thump a little bit.
And Jonathan Ledbetter.
And Jonathan, he's defensive end, 280. He could play in a 3-4 or 4-3. A lot of people want that end who could hold the point of attack, hold the edge. I don't know. They're going to know about his 3-cone number to show his explosiveness and his ability to get to the quarterback. Nobody's pushing him around. I think we can, I've seen that watching him play. So, they know he's going to be stout against the run. But does he offer some pass rush ability, which is very important in this league? You'll see now with the NFL teams playing 70% of nickel defenses, that they'll put 4 defensive ends out there on third down and just go after the quarterback. The Falcons have been trying to do that for a while, and did do it some great deal last year when they had Bruce Irvin when they picked him up. So he's gonna have to show that he can get after the quarterback. That'll be his big thing, and that'll help him move up in the draft.
On Sunday, DeAndre Baker will be here. Of course, D-Led told you yesterday why the Falcons are interested in DeAndre Baker. Now they're meeting with Ridley, probably as we speak. So sounds to me like a good chance there could be a Georgia player going to Atlanta. D-Led, give everyone your Twitter account so everybody can follow you on Twitter, keep up with the news.
Yeah, it's at DOrlandoAJC, and we'll be tweeting out, everything here from the Combine, Mike. And thanks for letting me do the cross promo here with our fine folks over at Dog Nation. Also, with regards to Baker, just met with Daniel Jeremiah and Charles Davis. They're going to help the AJC with our pre-draft position-by-position series, which will be, coming in April. But they both said DeAndre was the top corner in the draft. They're not big on Greedy Williams. He doesn't like to tackle a lot, and he's got some bad film out there that's pushing him down the draft. So DeAndre might be moving away from the Falcons, might be moving up in the draft where they probably can't get him, although both of them have him in the 15 to 20 range. I know Kuiper has him going to the Steelers at 20. So, yeah, he's going to be the top corner in the draft they're projecting because Greedy Williams doesn't like to be real physical and hit people in the mouth.
A lot of those mock drafts, we see the Denver Broncos taking a cornerback at number 10. That could be a spot for DeAndre Baker. My Twitter account, at Mike Griffith 32. D-Led and I will be back tomorrow night to wrap up tomorrow's activity. It's going to be a huge day with McCole Hardman, Ridley, Isaac Nauta, and Terry Godwin all running the 40, and DeAndre Walker and Jonathan Ledbetter, talking with the media tomorrow. So thanks for joining us. Mike Griffith for D-Led. Everybody have a great Friday night. We'll be back here tomorrow from Indianapolis.